Hi, I'm Raylene, and welcome to Khaleesi Clues. HBO has recently released a Season 8 trailer for their hit series, Game of Thrones. The final season is quickly approaching, and the fans can hardly wait for it to begin. The trailer is very dark and fast-paced with numerous clips of many of our favorite characters. One thing that we have to remember is that these clips may not be shown in the exact order as we may see on the show. The trailer is meant to leave us guessing and wanting more, and I think they clearly accomplished that goal. In this video, I'm going to attempt to break down the trailer and give some possible scenarios for some of the scenes they used. They started the trailer off with probably one of the best teasers they have released so far. The first thing we see is Arya and her panicked, blood and dirt splattered face. She is out of breath and appears to be hiding. She takes a deep breath and is shown to be running. The trailer continues to show her running frantically down a hallway, looking over her shoulder. The scene is interrupted with brief images of Davos, Varys, and an image of Arya prior to the battle that has apparently taken place. The only weapons we see that Arya has while she is running is the cat's paw dagger at her left hip, and in her hand she is clutching what looks to me like a slightly broken dragonglass weapon. There are a couple of people who have lightened the video tremendously for fans to view. I googled Game of Thrones Season 8 trailer, Lord of Light version. I had actually heard about the lightened video from one of Gray Area's awesome trailer breakdown videos. I will try to add the links to these videos in my description. I took some of the images from that lightened video for reference. You can see from the images that Arya is being chased by at least 2 other people. There are many great ideas out there of possible threats that may be after Arya, such as the Faceless Men, Whites, the Night King, or even White Walkers. One thing I would like to point out is when it shows Arya paused, looking as if she's waiting, or even while she is running, I notice that you do not see the exhale of her breath leaving her mouth as you typically see when the Night King or White Walkers are present. Some say she's not running away from someone, but that she's actually setting a trap and leading someone or something to it. Some fan hopefuls say it's Lady Stoneheart. My original thought was that she was confronted with a child that she had possibly bonded with in Winterfell, or even someone that she knew or loved that had been killed during the battle and then changed to a white. There are many different ideas that very well could end up being what she is running from. But after days of watching this trailer, I thought of this possible scenario, which is now my favorite. I don't think the 3 scenes of Arya running are shown to us in the correct order. I think the second and third scene of her running down the hallway is actually happening before the very first scene we see in the trailer, where she has paused and appears to be hiding. I think Arya has broken free and escaping from some of the Golden Company soldiers who have attempted to capture her along with Sansa for the Queen, Cersei Lannister. It may even be that Arya came across the soldiers capturing Sansa from the crypts during the battle at Winterfell. She may have been fighting with these soldiers trying to save and free Sansa. I think that is the cause for the panicked look on Arya's face. She may have just witnessed the abduction of her sister. I think she has either had to leave her sister behind with the abductors in order to escape, or she was outnumbered and forced to escape, unable to save her sister. Arya is not afraid of anything or anyone. That look is not fear, it is horror. The horror you would feel if you watched someone you loved being forcefully taken from your very own home. And as we have all heard from Brienne, nothing's more hateful than failing to protect the one that you love. So possibly what we are seeing is the actual escape of Arya from the soldiers, and then her pausing and hiding after she has gotten far enough away from them. I believe they have just edited the scenes out of order. It could also explain why the dragonglass would be broken. Dragonglass is supposed to be extremely sharp, but also very brittle. If she is fighting armored men, the dragon glass could break. Plus, you have to think, if she is outnumbered by numerous soldiers with basically only one weapon to wield, which would be the dagger, in order to take down your opponent, you would have to be within arm's reach. The opponent would have the advantage by having, number one, a longer reach by the length of their arm versus her arm, plus the added length of a sword. Even Cersei commented to Jaime before how the mountain would not stand a chance should he be attacked by numerous assailants at the same time. Just like Syrio taught her, there's a time to stand and a time to flee. What do we say to the god of death? Not today, Arya. Not today. In one of these lightened images, it seems to me that you can barely make out the armor of one of the followers, and it looks similar to the very same armor you see on what appears to be the leader of the Golden Company from this image. Now I'm going to propose a possible, oh my gosh, no possible way idea to you for this image. That's exactly how I felt when my mom actually brought this up to me. But take a good long look at this picture. There is one particular thing that really stands out above anything else you see, and that is the golden, beautiful hair. It is striking for sure. People have speculated that it is Harry Strickland who is the captain of the Golden Company, and by all means, that is exactly who it definitely appears to be with that golden armor and that big sword on the side. Some have even speculated that it could be the Aegon or Fagon, as some refer to him, who is a character from the books that was left out for the show. But what if that armored like the sun, golden and beautiful, haired person shown deliberately from the back is actually Queen Cersei Lannister in disguise? Take a good look and tell me that it is not a possibility. That hair is eerily too similar to our beautiful, evil Golden Queen. Seriously, most sea captains have windblown, unkept hair. Perfect example is Euron or the Iron Island people. That golden hair is perfect. Look at the hands and the way they grasp the posts of the ship. To me, the hands look womanly and their actions look similar to the way Cersei grabs a hold of the arms of the Iron Throne. It could just be me and my wishful thinking, since I have been predicting that Queen Cersei would be wearing armor and returning to Winterfell. I even thought she may try and pose as Jaime using his armor as a disguise, but I never even considered the fact that she would be sailing to Winterfell and then posing as another character. Now, if that is Queen Cersei, then we also know that the mountain is on that ship with her too. Maybe that look on Varys's face from the crypts is not just the look of fear from hearing the noises from the battle above, but shock from the actual sight of the mountain and Queen Cersei entering the crypts of Winterfell. Now that is someone and something that he would never expect to see. The same could be said for Arya. If she happened to encounter the Queen and the mountain there in Winterfell, can you imagine the confusion it would cause for her? It's just something that would be so unexpected or predictable. It would definitely leave you questioning your own eyes or even your own sanity, especially if Arya ended up knocking the mountain's helmet off during a battle. It would definitely take her off guard and shock her. The last time she seen the mountain was when she was a prisoner at Harrenhal, and the mountain was definitely not blue back then. And you have to admit, Arya taking on the mountain would be a pretty hard opponent to beat. Moving on, we see Tormund, Beric, and Ed entering a dark, seemingly deserted castle. They definitely are alive and in good condition, as they do not appear to be battle-worn. That's great news, since the last we've seen of them was during the collapse of the wall. The trailer then flashes to Bran and Sam talking. When Sam turns his head, you can see his breath, which can only mean one thing. The White Walkers are getting close. At this time, we are hearing Bran talking to someone, telling them, "Everything you did brought you where you are now, where you belong, home. There are only a few characters that I believe this speech could be applied to, and that is Arya, Jon, Sansa, or Theon. I honestly think he is actually talking to Theon. This season, we will see Theon return to Winterfell. He will need to face Bran and Arya just the same as he had to man up and face Sansa and Jon. I think this is Bran telling Theon that the past is the past. The past has already been written. The ink is dry. There is no changing the past. You can only work on today in hopes to bring a brighter future. These words that Bran is saying would speak miles to his forgiveness and acceptance of Theon's past mistakes, just the same as Jon's statement last season to Theon about not having to choose that he is a Stark and a Greyjoy. Next, we see Jon and Dany marching with the Unsullied through Winter's Town towards Winterfell. We get the absolutely stunning shot of the dragons flying over Sansa and the aerial shot of the dragons over Winterfell. It then shows Dany approaching Jon down in the crypts, who is looking sad and troubled. Seems like it could only be one of two things. Either he has found out about his true parentage and is standing in front of Lyanna or Ned's tomb, or he is possibly feeling the blame for Sansa's abduction. He could be standing in front of Ned's tomb, feeling as if he has failed to protect his little sister. The trailer then shows Gendry in the armory with piles of dragonglass all around, forging weapons. Weapons that will make kings rise and fall. He is doing exactly what Melisandre had once predicted. Next, we get a shot of Jorah Mormont on horseback, and it definitely looks as if Sam has given or loaned him the Tarly family Valyrian steel sword, Heartsbane. I'm sure Jorah and Sam will be very pleased to see each other once again in Season 8. Sam giving this special sword to Jorah may very well save Jorah's life once again in the battle against the dead. We see the passionate parting kiss between Greyworm and Masson. It then flashes to Brienne, slashing through men that are breaching the walls of Winterfell. Jaime screams something, and you can see Pod in front of him. I believe this could be Jaime watching Brienne trying to reach Arya, possibly. It looks as if she has left Pod to help defend Jaime. Brienne definitely looks as if she is on a mission to reach someone. Later in the trailer, they give us the scene of Arya twirling the spear around along the same area with men breaching the wall in the background. Again, I think those two shots are reversed. I think we will see Arya fighting first, possibly being overwhelmed by the soldiers, and Brienne then charging over to aid Arya. We then see a long shot of the throne room, fires burning to keep the room warm. There are two people standing in front of Queen Cersei, who is sitting on the throne. The one directly in front of Cersei has tan or golden color clothing, and their hands are behind their back. This stance is either showing strength and confidence, or just the opposite. It could be a prisoner with their hands tied behind their back. To the right is another person wearing a long, dark coat. The first thought was that it was the leader of the Golden Company, accompanied by Euron. Maybe this is the first meeting upon their arrival at King's Landing between Cersei and the two men. Then again, there was an enhanced image shown on A.U. Packmule's YouTube channel. The image was sent to him by another YouTube channel that he was live streaming with, which was Game of Theories with Marie. This enhanced image shows that the person to the right might not be Euron at all. It looks as if the person has long red hair. Marie and Jon discussed in their video that this person may possibly be either Sansa Stark or even Alice Karstark. If that is Alice Karstark, the person on the left may be a Golden Company soldier or leader presenting her to the Queen, mistakenly thinking that they have captured Sansa Stark. I thought it was a really good catch on both of their parts. And if it is Sansa Stark, then it definitely gives credence to my Season 8 predictions. One thing that I wanted to ask everyone is about the huge window above the Iron Throne. Does anyone else think that that design looks like a kraken in the making? I don't know if I've ever seen the top of the window since Joffrey changed the original stained glass window. We knew he replaced the design directly above the throne to the 7-pointed star. Then, when Cersei became queen, she replaced that design with the Lannister lion. But to me, it looks like a kraken above the lion in the great window. Let me know what you think in the comments. The trailer then shows Cersei in thin, informal clothing, which is probably nightwear, sipping wine with tears in her eyes. Could this be Cersei requesting a private audience with the leader of the Golden Company? Or is this her recovering from an unfortunate miscarriage? It could also be her preparing to consummate a possible marriage to Euron Greyjoy. Although, I really don't believe she would ever marry Euron. I thought she made that pretty clear when she told him he would have his heart's desire after the war was won. A kraken in the window could just be paying tribute to Euron and also playing him along with the idea that she fully plans on marrying him. But as we have seen over the years, windows can be replaced. Next, we get a beautiful scene of the dragons flying through the Winterlands. People are saying it could possibly be north of the Wall. It would be awesome if this is Jon and Dany flying on the backs of the dragons. If it is, then they edited their images out of the picture. The trailer then shows Arya seeing the dragons fly over Winterfell. A quick flash of Greyworm getting ready for the battle. Jon in front of the weirwood tree. An image of the Hound standing while fire blazes in the background. It looks as if he is still dealing with the post-traumatic stress disorder caused from his childhood trauma. We hear Jaime's voice saying, "I promise to fight for the living. I intend to keep that promise." This must be him in the Riverlands with the Tullys or in Winterfell, as we can clearly see him later fighting beside Pod. Next, it shows a hand gripping a bow, and it looks as if they are standing in front of the crypts of Winterfell. At least I think it is a bow because you can see a string to the right of it. If it is a bow, then there are only a few characters that I have seen use one in the show. Bran, Arya, Theon, and Jon have all used a bow at some time throughout the seasons. Any one of those characters could be in front of the crypts. I think the most likely candidates would be Jon or Theon. I could imagine Theon maybe being down in the crypts to pay his respects to Ned. I believe he even bragged about how skilled he was in archery back in season 1. And with good reason, too, because we later witnessed his accuracy when he saved Bran's life from the wildling who held a knife to his throat. Maybe we will see Theon use that bow again in season 8. Maybe he will save Bran once again from someone or something that is threatening him. The other possibility could be Jon holding the bow in front of the crypts. We have seen his skills as an archer too, from season 5, when Jon had ended Mance Rayder's suffering when he was being burned at the stake. Although Jon has his sword Longclaw to wield, so I can't really picture him using the bow in its place. I think Theon would be the more likely candidate. Theon does not have a Valyrian steel sword, but he could definitely use some dragonglass arrowheads if he chose to use a bow. It then flashes to Jon running into battle, and what looks to me as a separate scene of soldiers running either out of a gate or into a castle. To me, it looks more like they are entering a castle, but I guess we will have to wait and see. The trailer then shows Drogon and Rhaegal looking completely gorged on food, while Dany and Jon are approaching them on foot. I watched the way Jon's feet were pointing to see if they might be angled towards Rhaegal, but it did not appear that way at all. They were pointed in the direction of Drogon. That doesn't mean that he won't then walk over to Rhaegal. I think we are all fully expecting Jon to ride Rhaegal, but they definitely wouldn't give us that in a trailer. It then flashes to Sansa, She looks to me as if she is looking a little relieved and a slight hint of a smile. I think this is her first reaction to seeing Tyrion approaching Winterfell. It's almost as if her facial expressions is saying, "Nice to see you again," or "Glad to know you're alive." She looks as if she is wearing a different dress under her coat. The ascot was not present in the previous image that we've seen of her. Then again, I don't remember seeing Tyrion in any of the teasers they have released so far, so maybe Tyrion arrives the following day with the Dothraki. It then shows Arya during the battle scene again, a flash of Dany looking a little sad or worried. And then finally, we get a shot of Tyrion. He is looking up and he is looking pretty sharp. I believe this is him as he is approaching Winterfell. He is looking up and possibly seeing Sansa for the first time above on the upper deck area. I think part of the reason why we do not see many scenes or images of Tyrion and Sansa is because there is not going to be very many non-spoilery scenes where they are in Winterfell. If you have been watching my prediction videos, you know I believe that they are both going to be prisoners of Queen Cersei for the most part of the final season. This clearly shows Tyrion wearing his Hand of the Queen pen still and is definitely not battle-worn. Same could be said of Sansa. Every image of her so far has been of her looking beautiful. Hard times have not hit them yet. Right after the Tyrion image, we get a blast of fire coming from one of the dragons. I'm thinking that's another clue. I'll be adding more on that in my next video. The trailer ends with it showing Brienne, Pod, and Jorah all standing ready for the impending battle to come. The dreaded final image is the rotted legs of a dead horse on the path to Winterfell. The trailer is dark, and Season 8 will most definitely be full of terrors. I hope you have all enjoyed my breakdown of the Season 8 trailer. And by the way, if you enjoy videos about Game of Thrones, there are many channels available to choose from. A perfect example are the two channels I mentioned earlier in my video. Both John from AU Packmule and Marie from the channel Game of Theories with Marie are really wonderful and kind people who love this story too. This community of YouTube content creators is really just amazing in their support and kindness that they show one another. Just the same as Talking Thrones, who gave my channel the first ever recommendation by another channel. Tony Teflon and Smokescreen have all at times mentioned my channel during one of their videos. They do this out of the kindness of their heart. They are trying to give my channel a boost in subscribers. I can never thank them all enough. There are many channels that are amazing. I really encourage all of you, if you enjoy Game of Thrones content, take a look at my list of channels on my site or anyone else's site. Subscribe to their channels because they all have their own view that they bring to their videos about this amazing story. This is the final season for all of us to enjoy together. There will never be another story like this one. Help support all of the Game of Thrones content creators. Subscribe, like, and share if you can. Just a quick news update for my channel. I am currently trying to coordinate a live stream with AU Packmule's channel sometime within the next few weeks. If we can get any time set up between the both of us, I will post the date and time on my Facebook channel. He is currently doing a 30 days of Game of Thrones promotion. He is having different guests from different YouTube channels on talking about their thoughts and ideas of where the story is going. It's a great way for fans to be introduced to new channels. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.